It is a cold, moonless night, shrouded in a fog so thick it swallows sounds and dissolves lights. You cross the street and the fog hides the arrival of the car. You realize the danger too late. Time expands into an eternal moment. But a figure emerges from nowhere. An old man grabs you and pushes you away, taking your place in the impact. His body remains on the asphalt, motionless. His life is extinguished while yours is saved. Later, an officer hands you an envelope found in the deceased's pocket. It is addressed to you. Inside, a crumpled piece of paper with only 2 words, "Study physics." You did not know that man, but he sacrificed everything for you. What could he have known? Why that message? Shaken and filled with a sense of inexplicable debt, you decide to listen to him. From that moment, the mystery of his death becomes the silent compass that orients your every choice, pushing you towards a destiny you do not yet understand. Years pass, and that advice becomes your calling. You become a respected physicist, an expert in relativity, fascinated by the mysteries of time. But a doubt persists inside you. Why you? And why physics? One day, almost by chance, you succeed where no one had really dared to hope. You build a time machine. In front of that pulsating mechanism, you realize a truth that had always been there, hidden under layers of logic and chance. Now you can go anywhere, at any moment, but you don't hesitate. You know exactly what to do. You take the framed letter off the wall, put it back in its worn envelope, and slip it into your pocket. Then you get in the car and set the destination. That same foggy night. You arrive just in time to save yourself. You push your younger self out of danger. The car hits you squarely. As your body falls to the asphalt, the cycle closes. You died to save yourself again. It all seems to end there, poetically and circularly. But time travel stories never end where we think they do. Just scratch the surface and disturbing questions begin to emerge. Who really wrote that letter? You received it as a boy. You kept it for decades and then you took it back in time to deliver it to yourself. No one ever wrote it. It just exists. It is an object without origin, trapped in an eternal cycle. This is the bootstrap paradox. But there is more. Every time you save yourself, you start over. You grow, you build the machine, you go back, you save yourself. Infinity, a cycle of uninterrupted births and deaths. But the letter, it is not reborn. It ages. The paper wears out, the ink fades. It is the paradox of degradation. And the idea of studying physics, it was born from no one. It appeared from nowhere. It is the paradox ex nihilo. How can something exist without a cause? If everything was already written, then you never had a choice. No decision is truly yours. You always had to build that machine. Always had to go back. Always had to die. It couldn't have been any other way. This is the paradox of predestination. Free will becomes a fragile illusion, a story we tell ourselves so we don't go mad. But what if you decided at the last minute not to intervene? What if you let your younger self get swept away? The problem is, you couldn't. How could you hesitate if you're only there because you didn't hesitate? This is the paradox of self-infanticide, the impossibility of killing a younger version of yourself, even through inaction. Your arrival is proof of your intervention. Every alternative self-destructs. You are trapped, not just in time, but in logic, in a labyrinth of causes and effects that chase each other and close in on each other with no way out. What seemed like a simple story of salvation thus becomes a gateway to a universe of enigmas. Time travel, however incredible, is not forbidden by physics. It is not just fantasy or dream. In some folds of reality, there are glimmers, exceptions, blind spots of logic and matter. In 2021, a researcher estimated that the observable universe contains about 6x 1080 bits of information, an unimaginable quantity, but it is precisely information that defines everything: what we are, what we see, even what we remember. And if information can be deformed or compressed, then time can too. If space can bend, perhaps time can also open up, bend, curve in on itself. The question then changes. It is no longer whether time travel is possible, but how. And above all, at what price? What are you willing to lose to cross that invisible threshold that separates now from never? Imagine a river flowing slowly through the twisted roots of a forgotten jungle. You don't row, you don't struggle. You let yourself be carried, as we all do in the current of time, from the past to the future, without deviating. But what happens to the stretches you have already passed? Where does yesterday go? Does it disappear? It's hard to believe. No one would think that the riverbed disappears just because you have left it behind. Likewise, the past may not have disappeared. It is simply no longer in your field of vision. And the future? They say it does not exist yet, that it is created as you live it. But where would it come from? The illusion is that time is something that moves forward, when perhaps we are the ones flowing through it. Some scientists see time as a stretch already written, from the Big Bang to the death of the universe, a single map already drawn, where every second already exists, where even what you do not yet remember exists anyway. This view is called eternalism. According to this theory, past, present, and future coexist in a single fixed, immutable structure. There is no privileged now. Every moment is as real as this one. Philosophers have been talking about it for centuries, but in modern physics it has a more technical name, the block universe, a concept where time is a dimension like space, part of a single entity called space-time. Albert Einstein laid the foundations for it with the theory of relativity, demolishing the idea of absolute time. There is no universal clock. Two observers can see events in the same order, or in reverse order. And they are both right. Your yesterday could be someone else's tomorrow. If time is relative, then every moment must remain there, always exist, in order to be seen by someone. It is an uncomfortable truth, but also an extraordinary one. A written universe, like a book, where every page is already in its place. In 1908, a mathematician revolutionizes our understanding. Space and time are not distinct entities, but woven from the same cloth. Minkowski merges them into a single concept, space-time. Every movement you make in space alters your experience of time, and it's not just theory. In 1915, Einstein shows that mass curves space-time. That's how gravity is born. Planets don't orbit because they are attracted, but because they follow curved lines in a deformed fabric. The definitive proof comes from an enigma, Mercury. Its orbits didn't obey Newton exactly. Einstein explains the anomaly. Mercury travels close to the sun, where space-time is most curved. Its trajectory shifts, precesses. No invisible forces, no mystery, just geometry. Space-time is not just an abstract concept. It is the stage on which everything moves, every thought, every breath. And that stage bends, changes, and maybe it can even open. Yet you don't have to look at planets to see time distort. Just look at moons, unstable particles generated by cosmic rays in the atmosphere should decay in a few moments. Yet many more of them than expected reach the ground. How is this possible? They travel at speeds close to the speed of light, and for them, time slows down. This is a phenomenon called time dilation. From their point of view, the journey is short. For us, they are miraculously long-lived. This effect has been measured, tested, confirmed. And it doesn't stop at particles. Even two atomic clocks placed at different altitudes mark time differently. Gravity curves space-time, and this affects the passage of time. Climb a mountain, and you age faster. Descend, and time slows down. Imperceptibly, but really. And if we knew how to exploit these effects, we could leap into the future. not as a dream, but as a concrete possibility. But if going forward is possible, is going back really possible? In 2011, an announcement shook the scientific community. Some neutrinos seem to travel faster than light. If true, it would open the door to travel into the past. But it was just an instrumental error. However, the idea remains. According to general relativity, there are structures in space-time called closed time loops, paths that, if followed, would take you back to a point in your own past. On paper, nothing prevents it. The difficulty is making it real. It would require infinitely long rotating cylinders or immense quantities of negative energy. Or perhaps something even stranger, a tunnel between 2 points in space-time, a passage, a wormhole. Like a tunnel between 2 folds of reality, it could connect not only distant places, but also different eras. And if we could keep it open, we could slip inside and re-emerge before we had left, return, and perhaps change everything. So we come full circle. A man dies to save himself. A letter travels through time without ever being written. And time turns out to be a labyrinth, not a line. But perhaps the deepest paradox is another. If time is already written, who are we, really? Every choice, every action, could just be a line already imprinted. Or maybe in some parallel universe, you chose differently. Maybe every possibility happens, somewhere. Every fork in your life expands into infinite worlds. Some where you were never born. Others where you are hearing these words for the first time. And if so, then perhaps freedom is not making choices, but knowing that every version of you, somewhere, continues to search for answers. If you want to continue exploring these mysteries with us, subscribe to the Shadows and Secrets channel, leave a like, and share the video. That said, thank you and see you next time.